hold up, I'm breaking ankles like some old tops. My rhyme steady going, please don't ask me if the flow stop. Deep in the pocket like the roof on a drop top. 101 Dalmatians, the way your boy drop dots. Man, hold up, I got you diving when I'm juking. The clips so sick like the smell from when you're pooping. Man, get down and click the sub button and hit the bell, cause I got a lot more of it. Yeah, who's mains? Terrence House head, who's mains? Batman, Bruce Wayne.
What's goody, what's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy WhosManz. You already know what time it is. Getting into a video. We're getting into, obviously it's a video. Y'all know that, y'all see that. We are getting into a new series. We are getting into a back to the basics series, and I'm gonna do these 2 days a week. One's gonna be breaking down and the basics of everything. The other one is going to be the film room, where I just, cut to and show you guys things. Now, this could be, me playing against the CPU because it is what it is, or me playing against, another person online. But I will, clarify that in the clip. And everything I do is always on all Madden. This is why the practice mode is so important. But this is going to be more so for people who maybe kind of get it, maybe, or they're just new and they just don't get, what each zone does and the responsibilities of everything, and why certain people do certain things. I'm gonna get into that, and also depending on how this goes, I'll even try to get into like techniques and what things should do, so that if you do put a offensive play out there and you notice the play art has one thing and you're like, okay, well, if I switch it to this, it'll make this play just a little bit better without destroying the entire concept. I'll get into that, but let me know. Let's get into it right now. Okay, so first I want to get into just the zone breakdowns. And today's video, we're going to go over cover 2 or Tampa 2, which are, there's 2 different styles of cover 2, but we're going to get into each style of cover 2. And you see here to my left, I have this picture of basically all the zones, and we're going to look there. You see you have, starting at the bottom, this is behind the line of scrimmage. You have your swing area. This is, your swing routes from your running backs or your fullbacks, tight ends, depending on where they're positioned in the backfield. Next, you have your flat and your delay, usually your drags and your screens, your wide receiver screens, things like that. They're going to be in those areas. You have your out area on the outsides, just above the flats. You see you have your curls, your hooks. Getting further back, you have your deep third, and then you have your deep halves. When you're looking at all these things right here, you have to understand where that these people need to play. And when you're thinking about cover 2, now you got to think about, okay, where are all these players going to be positioned, right? And you see the depth. Those are the depths that you need to play. So when we look at cover 2, you understand, okay, there's going to be a deep half, and it's not that small. It's just they're positioned in that way. So deep half, you see you have to be able to cover an entire half field, 26 yards. You got to at least be able to cover 26 yards. So both safeties, okay, you have your free safety and your strong safety. They're going to be playing high up high outside. So they're going to have to be able to cover from the middle of the field to the sideline, 26 yards. Next, you have 2 deep safeties. And when you see a 2 high safety look, that's middle of the field open. Reason being, they're separated, right? You have your safeties, they're separated. The middle of the field is open. And for an offense, they call it middle of the field open because that's where they want to attack, the middle of the field, deep at least. All right, so here I have a diagram of basically a cover 2 zone. As you see there, you have your free safety, your strong safety up top, 2 high safety look. Middle of the field is open. You have your Will, your Mike, and your Sam. Those are your linebackers. It doesn't always have to be linebackers. You can have a nickel in there. It could be dollar. You can have your nickel and your dime in there. It just depends. But basically how the zones play is going to be the same, right? So let's look at the assignments of each of these players, right? So we're going to start on the corners. The corners are going to be the outside corners. Number 1 corners on the outside are going to be playing, flat zones, or they're going to be playing in that out area, the out that little out area, because one, they want to keep everything in front of them, right? You want to keep it in front of you so you can keep your eyes on the quarterback so that you can react to, the throws or the runs a little bit quicker. This isn't man where you're focusing solely on the wide receiver. This is zone. So you got to, angle yourself towards the quarterback and keep them in front. With that being said, those outside number one cornerbacks are going to want to funnel everything back inside to all of those zones, and also to make it easier on the safeties so they don't have to split so far apart. When you force that receiver to cut back inside, it's going to make it easier for your safety to then not vacate, kind of that middle-ish, that third-ish area of the field, right? He doesn't have to cover so far to the sideline. So your outside number one corners on those flats, they're always going to force and funnel those receivers back to the inside. If they get to the outside, right? If they get to the outside, if it's this number one corner, I'm not even pointing at him, but if it's the number one corner on the outside, right? And you let him get outside of you, now that safety has to go even further to the sideline to cover that guy, leaving just way more area in the middle of the field to cover. So it's important that that number one corner on the outside, who is playing your cloud or your hard flat in the game, at least, to definitely funnel him back inside. Now we're going to look at these linebackers. You have your Will and your Sam. They're going to be playing, your hook zones, those curls. Like, it's kind of like an in-between of the hook and the curl. Basically, they're just trying to also keep everything underneath. They're staying over top of everything underneath, right? So they're playing in that area. If they, try to run a curl, they might need to be able to help that area. If somebody plays, a slant, they're going to have to carry that to the middle of the field. Things like that. They're just staying in that area. Usually they're going to be 5 to 10 yards, kind of 5 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. Or not off, but when the ball snapped, they're going to be in that 5 to 10 yard range. The middle linebacker. Now, depending on if you are playing a Tampa 2 or old school style, cover 2 zone, Tampa 2 is going to be a little different. Tampa 2 was obviously created by Tampa Bay in that, 02 era, so basically the Tampa 2, the middle linebacker, to alleviate some issues that cover 2 has, he drops further back than the normal cover 2 zone. So in the normal cover 2 zone, that middle linebacker will stay at the same depth as the Will and the Sam. We're going to be about 5 to 10 yards. But instead, this middle linebacker, if he's in the middle read, he's going to be in that whole area, which you saw on the last slide, the last section there. He's going to be a little further back. Reason being is they want to discourage those throws to the deep middle of the field, which is one of the weak points of Tampa 2. But also with him sitting, a little further back, they can still react to everything coming to the middle of the field. Another thing that I want to mention too, those cornerbacks on the outsides, they're going to sit further back because they don't want to be in the flats and then allow somebody to get in that hole right behind them. Like I said, Tampa 2 is to keep everything underneath them. So if those cornerbacks play a little too aggressively, and if you look on that here, the H or the Y decides to run a corner route or a deep out, they're going to be in a nice little spot in that zone. So the cornerback needs to kind of sit back and discourage that throw and make the quarterback throw to the flat so that they can then press down and make, give up minimal yardage. So that's what's really good. Another facet of the Tampa 2 or the cover 2 is that you're going to have 4 down linemen. With those 4 down linemen, they need to be able to get after the quarterback. So usually you're not going to be wanting to run this if you don't have a decent pass rush. You don't have to have the world's greatest defensive line, but if you have one guy that can consistently get in the backfield, or you got 2 guys that maybe collapse the pocket really well, this is a great coverage to run. when I talk about this formation, it's a 7-man box. 7-man because you have 4 on the line, you got 3 linebackers, 7. You're gonna bring out a 7-man box if you think that somebody's gonna pass, right? When you think somebody's gonna run, what do? You stack the box, 8-man box, right? It's harder to have an 8-man box when you're playing cover 2. Now, there are things you can do to disguise cover 2 to give you an 8-man box, but understand that both your safeties are there to make sure nobody gets over top. So they're not reacting to the run very, very quickly. They may stand flat-footed for a second. Most good corners are not going to be super flat-footed. They're going to be able to react really well, but you have a 7-man box. We're actually going to get into this. I'm going to show you it on the field. So let's get it. So now that I've told you kind of like the basics of a cover 2, right? I want you to guys look at this. You see you have your cloud flat who's going to be playing in an out area. Like I said, 5 to 10 to 15 yards. And he's just wanting to keep it, everything underneath. You have your vert hook, your hook zone. He's playing in that hook kind of curlish area, helping out the flat area. And it says flat. The flats are 5 yards and underneath. You can debate this with really any coach. The flats are always kind of difficult for most coaches to, all coaches to determine what is a flat. Is it the swing area? Is it the flat area? I mean, it is what it is. Just know that he's going to be over there in the out area. And then you see your middle read. Some styles of defense, they don't have him playing a middle read. They have him playing, I guess, more of like a hook curl in the middle of the field. And they're not getting as far, downfield. So maybe if you're closer to the goal line and the threat of getting beat over top isn't as necessary, put this man in a hook curl. Let's run it and see exactly where he's gonna play. So yeah, it would be that hook curl. This man here would be playing in a hook curl because he's not wanting to get as deep. But Tampa 2 style, he's gonna not be playing a middle third, but he's gonna be playing a middle read. He wants to get in that whole area that I showed you guys. That's about 15 yards downfield in this area. The reason why he's way up there is because it's middle of the field open. If the middle of the field is open, that's a weak point. He doesn't want to get so far back that now the middle of the field is completely open down low, but he just wants to get deep enough to discourage those deep throws down the middle enough to help those safeties get to that spot, but also be able to come down to the middle of the field to stop those big gains in the middle of the field. They have the middle read there because he understands you have your Sam, which your Sam is always kind of, I'm not going to say always, but your Sam is lined up over top of the strong side of the formation. Also, again, sorry for the cut. Your strong safety is going to be lined up on the strong side of the formation. Your free safety is on the weak side. So some defenses will, talk about these safeties as the weak side safety and the strong side safety, but free safety, strong safety is usually on the strong side of the formation. Free safety is usually on the weak side of the formation. It's not always like that for every defense. Each defense is a little different, but that's where the name comes from. And then we're going to get into these vert hooks. Like I said, the vert hooks, they're going to be playing probably like from the numbers to about this hash, this area. They need to be able to take care of this area right here, that 5 to 10 yard area, this little box right in here. He's gonna be carrying these verticals from the slot up to the deep half for the safety. He's gonna be taking routes that go to the middle of the field to this point. He's gonna be taking routes that maybe be coming from the middle of the field to the flat. He's gonna carry those. If nothing is going this way, he's gonna carry maybe this route over here to this flat guy and kind of help him out in that area. If both these guys go vertical and then he sees a flat, he may come down a little bit to help carry that guy over to the flat. But this guy here is really to kind of like, if you see vert hook, he is helping out on these verts And because those curls usually like to sit in probably about right here, good curls will sit like kind of in this area. He's going to try to help out in that area, but you know, since we have a 2x2 with a this is 11 personnel being one running back, one tight end, but he's going to basically carry this vertical, not all the way, but just far enough to discourage that throw until he gets to the deep half. So now that you guys know all that, we're just going to watch this cover 2 play out and see the pros and cons of it. We're going to look, you see all those people are keeping everything in front and they come down to the flats. There's a couple of good and bad things about this coverage in Madden, at least. I don't like how this corner sees that there's a man coming to the flat. You see him coming to the flat and he carries this slant a little too far inside. I would prefer him to carry him inside just a little bit and then get back over here to really discourage this throw. I get it if his awareness isn't super high, but he's facing a quarterback. He's looking directly at him. He needs to be able to see that. Same thing on this side here. I don't kind of like the logic of this where he waits until he gets to him to then try to get there. I prefer he would just sit right here, right? Sit right here, pass it off. These throws are, you know, if he decides, this quarterback, if he's smart and he likes his wide receiver, he's not throwing his slant right here, because even if he does complete it, he's getting lit up by the linebacker, right? And then also the quarterback, if he likes his tight end, he's not throwing that route to, I mean, it's a better throw, but, you know, just on the off chance that this cornerback is a very good athlete, if he throws that and that cornerback shoots down, he's at the very least getting 2-3 yards, right? But I don't like how far in they come, which is why I think the flats in this game is such an easy thing to get, because those cloud flats react so late. Now, like I said, this could be because of awareness, play rec, things like that, but that's the one issue that I have that I've noticed on this, is that they carry those a little too far. They just commit way too much. Now we're looking at this middle read. You see the middle read, he's going to get into that whole area. He needs to get far enough back to discourage those deep throws over the middle, but he's not going to get so far back that he cannot bite down to the middle of the field. You see, if that quarterback were to throw this throw to the middle, he can now shoot down and get, you know, get this cornerback for a minimal gain. And you see here, right, he's lined up on the outside because he wants to funnel this cornerback inside. So he's going to stay on that outside hip. You know, if he tries to go vertical, if he goes vertical, he's going to push him inside. He's going to, you know, put hands on him and push him inside. And that's why he stays at that 5-yard depth, because if he goes further back and hits him, that's illegal contact. So you need to stay 5 yards, push him inside, because like I said, if he gets too aggressive or he lets him get outside release, look at all this grass on the sideline here. Yes, the safety can, if he is a very good safety, if he's a rangy safety, he can get over there and maybe not let a touchdown or a huge gain, but there is a hole right in this, you know, deep sideline area. There is also a weakness deep middle of the field. Now, this is a little harder to hit, I think, in Tampa 2, just because of how deep this middle linebacker gets. So now, because you don't want to give up the deep middle, so you send him further back, now you give up the underneath middle. Football is all give and take. You can never take away everything. I don't care who says what. You will never find a play that bags everything. If you drop everybody in coverage to stop the pass and you keep doing it, a smart person's going to run a draw. You're never going to find a play on defense that bags everything all the time. It's never going to happen. That's the whole purpose of this play, is to keep those gains to a minimum and just allow your defense to get in the backfield. if you can get the quarterback to hold on to the ball and you have a good pass rush, you can get a sack. That's what Tampa was so good at, and why they really dominated with that Tampa 2 style defense, is they were able to keep the quarterback to hold the ball long enough for that defensive line to get in the backfield and cause some chaos. So you're really wanting to take away those deep shots and keep everything to a minimum. You want that offense to dink and dunk. With that being said, we're going to go over some plays that are really good against a cover 2. So we're going to go over curls combo. Curl flat is a really good play for when you come against cover 2. Reason being, it puts those cornerbacks in conflict. They have to choose whether they want to defend high or low. So we're going to let this play run out. You're going to see he gets to the middle of the field to occupy those guys in the middle. So curl flat, we're going to look first over here. You see he starts to carry him over to the side, but he now sees this guy coming to the middle of the field. So what does he do? He's going to have to kind of cheat over to make sure that he doesn't then run like a double move, or he stops and then cuts back across the middle of the field. So he's got to kind of cheat. And you see, actually, this curl runs really well. I would like for this curl to get maybe a little further inside, like right over the numbers. But he gets at good depth. And then you also have this H here who's running straight to the flats. He doesn't want to get past 5 yards. So he's at 5 yards, but he doesn't want to get past 5 yards. He wants to stay down. Basically, what this is doing is it's making this cornerback here decide, okay, do I want to take away this curl or do I want to take away this flat? I'm going to go over one more, and it's similar to a curl flat. Another concept that is really good against cover 2 is the smash, because once again, it puts your cloud flat into conflict, makes him choose high or low. So let's look. It's going to be on this left side here. You see Claypool runs a corner route. Boom. So he's going to be running a corner route. So you see this vert hook is going to carry him until, he thinks, okay, well, this safety now can help over top. There's a nice cushion there. It would be a really stupid throw for this quarterback to try to throw it, maybe a little inside or whatever, because the safety is going to jack him up. You got the H running this corner route. He needs to get deep to the outside, because if we looked at it, where's the grass? The grass is here, because the safety's got to make sure he stays over top, and he's got to guard from the middle of the field to the sideline. The sideline is your friend. So, at the very least, I'm going to stick to the middle of the field, because I don't want to get burnt to the middle. I have the sideline that also helped me, so I'm going to give a little bit more cushion. Also understanding that this cornerback is going to get somewhat deep on these plays and kind of try to help him out. But like I said, it puts the cornerback in conflict, right? Can't guard this corner route and this underneath route here. This is just a little 5-yard hitch. And depending on, down and yardage and all that other stuff and yards to go, maybe he decides, okay, well, I don't want to give up this underneath because it's third and 12. And I know this quarterback, or it's 3rd and 2 or something like that. And this quarterback is looking to get rid of the ball really quickly. So let's, take away the immediate threat and make this deep throw, a little harder, because I trust my safety. It just really depends. So it just puts these cornerbacks in conflict. You see here, right? Cornerback does a good job of pushing this go route inside to the help. And you do that because now it gets him closer to the safety. So the quarterback sees, okay, I want to throw this go route because the safety's over top to help. This cornerback now has to choose high-low between this corner route and this flat route. And you may think, okay, well, why doesn't this guy come down and help? Well, you have somebody coming over the middle. So he has to kind of stay close enough inside to discourage his throw to the middle. But like I said, football's give and take, so you can't guard everything. So the quarterback sees, okay, this cornerback went high, I'm gonna go low, throws it to the tight end, and look, this cornerback is back 15 yards trying to take away this corner route. Quarterback throws it to this flat route quick enough, and he picks up about 7-8 yards there. So that's why when you're playing cover 2, these are some concepts that are going to work really well against you. So those are the pros and the cons of cover 2. You're taking away the immediate underneath, and you're making that quarterback hold the ball. Con is there are some concepts out there that really stress the outsides of these zones, and there are some concepts as well that stress the middle of the zones. These are the pros and the cons of cover 2. There are things you can do. You can blitz out of cover 2. You can maybe align it differently. Hopefully this video helped y'all. I'll be going over cover 3 and cover 1, cover 4, cover 6, cover 9, all that good stuff. And then I'll also be going over offensive concepts. I know I went over our offensive concept really quickly in this, but I'm gonna be going over them more and more throughout the year. So hopefully this helped y'all. If it did help y'all, let me know in the comments below. Did this help? Did this maybe set off a light bulb? Like, oh yeah, I can do this, that, and the third in this now. But let me know, and I'm gonna be coming out with some film room stuff after this, man. Stay tuned. It's gonna come out on Friday, and so I'll see y'all next time. Peace.